This does remind me of Ingmar Bergman's movies. It's perfect.
It is.
It's perfect. Continue on.
Hello and welcome to the new formatting of This Is Truly News. I'm sorry, publishing, where you only get to hear us Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I was trying to give him a hard time there because he was drinking and not paying any attention to the wise words I'm saying about you liking, subscribing, and following us. But hey, if he doesn't
what
care,
about this extra flappy skin under my elbow?
See? Like, subscribe, and what's scary is the first time you catch it, like you're tying a shoe and his arm is...
Yeah. Oh, what the hell
is that? Like, subscribe, and follow us if you would, please. Thank you. We would appreciate that.
And you regulars,
share us with all your friends.
Start liking us regularly, you darn regulars. It helps the algorithm, and we get exposed to more people. So
don't say exposed.
Don't unknock it off.
Okay, now if you would like to comment on that,
please do.
You can do that right where you're watching and or listen. We have people that just listen, right? We're better, I think, if you just listen.
I'm not sure.
No, it's kind of a toss-up. Wherever you find us, you can just leave your comment right there, or you can toss it into an email, send us a story, give us your professional comment, your snarks, your compliments, your... Well, I would ask for your PIN number, but let's be serious. No one would give it to us.
I don't mind your pity.
No. Anyway, TITRnetradio.network will get it done.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
An unsuspecting resident of a retirement home in Australia was sitting down to eat her lunch. Before tucking into her food, she found...
That's very British of you.
What? Before tucking into
a food.
Before tucking into a food.
We pretty much, before you dive into that like a half-crazed rhinoceros.
Something wriggled by her feet.
No feet wriggling.
In Australia, especially.
They have snurks.
She leapt away from the table, and it was a snurk.
Oh, was it a kangaroo snurk that could leap with her?
No, it was not. This is one of the snurks without lurgs. This snurk managed to evade residents and capture.
I would say word, but I wouldn't know how to take that.
It likely was hiding out in the home due to the heat, by the way. You see,
this summer,
Eastern brown snakes, one of the deadliest breeds in the world, will look for cool places when things get very hot. And this one was no exception. Angie Broadstock from Snake Catchers Adelaide was called to deal with the snake, which account for about 65% of the snake-related deaths between 2000 and 2016 in Australia. Eastern brown snakes are second in venom. Tony was here. You numbnuts, why did you... Why? By the way, that's the camera at the normal angle for a person of normal height.
Yeah.
Why did you touch it? Oh, you're such an idiot. Anyway.
Hang on. Getting closer. Not too far.
Stop. You're going to have to tighten that.
I can't. It doesn't tighten anymore.
Well, doesn't it have a screw or something on the side or back or backside?
No, it has this.
Maybe you should. Yeah, like you can show it itself or show me itself as your hand. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to keep reading here.
Are you doing something, really?
Yeah, Eastern brown snakes are second in venom.
Carry on, my wayward son.
But are a firm first for fatal attacks. Ms. Broadstock said a neighbor and staff member came through as they weren't sure whether to believe it was a snake or not. They opened the door and looked everywhere. There we are. Good. But couldn't find it. When I arrived at the unit, I listened to the story. Then the first place I looked was the sliding door. And there it was. Easy. It was so well hidden. It was so well hidden in the door frame that they opened the door when they were looking for the snake and didn't even see it there.
It bit 3 of them, killing 2.
And they still didn't notice it was so well hidden.
Why am I bleeding through these 2 marks?
They go for the first, Vlad, they go for the first available hiding spot, and she didn't have much else in the unit for hiding under or behind. So it was easy for me.
Why is she hiding her behind? What? Yay!
And honestly, what does a snake's behind look like?
Well, a lot like the front half without fangs.
Yeah, it's the poopy part.
Attaboy.
It's time to get all scatological. You ready? Beat biddly and doten bobo bedit and dot and not and not and diddly and on 2. There you go. I got scatological.
Scatman Crothers is now spinning. Imagine, Google him. He was cool. Imagine a scenario where an educator, whether a teacher or school principal, knowingly commits a crime.
Knowingly?
Should they
Yeah.
be punished more harshly than your regular Joe or your decaffeinated Joe? On one hand,
you're altogether fake, Joe. It's made out of mushrooms.
That's you.
That's the new stuff. They've got mushroom coffee.
Maybe.
Sounds disgusting.
What kind of mushrooms?
Not the good kind.
On one hand, you could argue that teachers should show impeccable morals to help young students grow up correctly. On the other, everyone should be equal in the eyes of the law, correct? Correct?
Yeah, but it's hard to prove intent, which is exactly what was going through my mind.
Whichever way you lean, though, we can probably agree that this Japanese school principal was punished a little out of proportion. The 59-year-old principal, who has not been named in Japanese media because, well...
He has an English name.
His name is Phil. He was caught for the heinous crime of... I can't say it.
Why? Say it.
He poured himself a large coffee when he'd only paid for a medium one.
Seriously?
Yes, and he's a repeat offender. He'd done it before. I know.
The recidivism rate is incredible.
Everyone is saying, why isn't the death penalty allowed? I know. The Japanese Board of Education seems to think that this was a nastier crime than, most of us are thinking.
Put him through a spanking machine and call it a day.
So the sanctions they slapped on Principal Man were, well, not only did the man get fired,
yeah,
but they scrapped the pension he'd earned over his career.
Oh, come on. Make him pay for the coffees and shut up.
It's Japan.
Yeah. Wow.
Sometimes you just can't save face. So if you are ever traveling to Japan, please pour your coffee the correct size. I think if you bring like a little ruler, one of the little metal rulers,
yep.
When it gets to the 6 or the 8, stop. Otherwise, you too could lose this man's pension.
That's right. And he's already had enough happen to him.
He's not a good week, Mom.
Improbable events. You ready? I got 2 of them.
1.
Tsutomu Yamaguchi made a habit of surviving extremely unfortunate circumstances. See, he was working in Hiroshima the day the United States dropped the first atomic bomb on Japan.
Working, not living.
Working. Yamaguchi was...
that's not good.
He was thrown into the air by the impact, but survived the blast and went back home to Nagasaki.
And
he was telling his boss all about the devastation in Hiroshima when his boss said, "How could one bomb destroy a whole city?" At that moment, a white light swelled inside the room. Amazingly, Yamaguchi lived to be 93 years old.
Dude.
Right?
Respect.
Actually,
I've never been near an atomic bomb, and I don't think I'll see 93, please.
No, look at that. That was just stunning.
Wow.
There had to be a few people that happened to. It just...
This seems rude now because my stories...
Don't worry, I've got some more here. In 2017, a woman named Chow Smith ran 7 marathons in 7 consecutive days on 7 continents, celebrating her
7th birthday?
70th.
I knew that was going to be the number.
Chow, what the hell? You're making us look bad, lady. Knock it off.
Was she Dane Bramaged?
Maybe.
Because
and finally, you're getting a bonus one here. Bill Morgan. Well, you know how it is when something nearly kills you and someone says, man, you better buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Bill Morgan was declared dead for 14 minutes and lived unscathed. To celebrate his survival, he bought a scratch card and won a $27,000 car. Wait for the other shoe here.
I knew there'd be one because there are 2 feet.
A reporter asked him to reenact the scratch card moment, so he bought another one.
And one
$250,000.
Attaboy. Don't quit when you're ahead. That's what I always say.
Coming up today on This Is True Really News, funny signs. What? What? Oh, you've got a story. I'm sorry. You're right. Especially now we should count correctly.
With the maths.
Using all the mathing and stuff.
It's not a great story. It's March's National Noodle Month.
Ooh, this
Noodle
does
Month.
sound intriguing.
March is, try it again, Tone, National Noodle Month, not National Noodle Month, because that'd be silly.
I like Noodle Months.
So the folks at Audi came up with stuff.
Okay.
Do you know there's a persistent legend that Marco Polo introduced Asian canoodles to his native Italy, thus inventing pasta?
He brought the Kama Sutra back?
Nope, that would create a whole bunch of different things.
You said canoodles. I took that to mean...
The story is false, though.
Oh.
No canoodles and no noodles. It originates from marketing geniuses from the American food industry.
Ah, nice.
We will believe anything if it was written down.
It's Marco Polo. It has to be true.
Besides, Europeans were already doing pasta-like foods long before Marco.
That's true.
Etruscans, the original inhabitants of Italy, they moved because the rent was they kept raising the rent, and it was like, enough of this. So they figured they'll just leave before they got booted out.
Well, the last straw was when
Booted out.
Owners refused to paint after raising the rent.
Booted out.
Yeah, because
Italy.
it's shaped like a...
That a boy. Anyway, they were boiling dough already 2,500 years ago.
Yep.
The oldest known noodles are 4,000 years old.
Don't eat them.
Not touching that with, no, I would need a chopstick 400 feet long. Thomas Jefferson, yes, ours, is touted as America's own Marco Polo. Thomas.
Jefferson. Took me a second.
Yeah. The third president
You
of the United
rehearse
States
more, man. That's all I'm
introduced
saying.
pasta to the U.S., but not really. Because honestly, that's the story that goes around. It's like Marco Polo.
Okay.
What do we say?
Thomas
Jefferson did not introduce pasta to the U.S.,
Oh, okay.
but the founding father did a lot to make it popular. He wore boots. Jefferson specifically fell in love with macaroni during... This is not ending. Fell in love with macaroni during his European travels and returned to America with a pasta machine in tow and kept tinkering with it until he got his own improved designs figured out.
Oh, great.
You're wondering he loved macaroni and cheese.
That's not true.
In particular, it says so right here on Audi. In particular, Jefferson loved macaroni and cheese.
Really?
It is so true, Scott, you scum.
So it's not true.
Comma, bag.
Scum. Bag.
Huh. Macaroni and cheese. Huh. Now, there's a lot of ways to go with that, and we're not doing any of them. Number 4, noodles used to be a luxury food. Noodles used to be a luxury food?
Oh, I get that. Sure.
Okay, who lived off them in college at times? Most every person that's ever gone to college. Ramen?
Not
Come
me.
on.
I lived off peanut butter sandwiches.
Well, yeah, that's because your parents were wealthy, so.
Yeah, we could have our own peanut butter.
I mean, come on, your dad was a minister. Jeez.
I used to keep peanut butter. I used to keep peanut butter and a loaf of bread in my dorm room.
So you were the life of the party.
You bet.
The world's longest noodle in the world belongs to China. 2017, the Zhangyan Food Company in Nanjing prepared a noodle that was more than 1.8 miles long.
That's a long slurp.
After the record was confirmed and recorded, the noodle was then chopped up and served to 400 staff members for China's Senior Day.
Nice.
Do not put oil in pasta water. Do not put oil in pasta water.
That's correct.
You're supposed to, apparently, you do that to prevent the noodles from sticking together?
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah, it doesn't. Oil doesn't do squat for pasta in boiling water.
Correct.
It does prevent the pasta water from boiling over, and you need that part to happen to cook the pasta. Otherwise, they stay like a stick. Samsung used to sell noodles. Samsung, smartphones, tablets, TVs, laptops. The Samsung Corporation started in 1938 when Lee Byung-chul started a small food company in the then Japanese-occupied Korea. His company was Samsung Sangho, sold dried fish and local produce and
Noodles.
well, actually Buicks, but Samsung quickly diversified into industries like sugar refining, insurance, and retail. Because when you start with food, why wouldn't you go into, refining sugar, insurance, and retail? It's a natural progression. And by the late 60s, they had kept progressing into electronics. And was it Nissan? Did they used to be Datsun?
Yes.
In the U.S.?
Yep.
The word noodle comes from German, by the way. We may think of them as Asian. We may love them in Italian. The word is derived from the German word Noodle, N-U-D-E-L, which in turn is a derivative of knödel, can't do umlauts, meaning dumplings.
Oh!
So your knödel are still popular across Central and Eastern Europe.
Well, there's one guy who fires them at airplanes.
They have no longer anything to do with noodles. There are more than 500 pasta shapes. If anyone asks me to name them, I will.
Well, there's
spaghetti,
bendy,
elbow macaroni, angel hair, linguine, zito, or that's enough.
And the fluttery kind.
Yeah, and
the benda ones.
And the weird kind that looks like a, never mind.
And the pasta pocket. And the seashell.
And Sally. You might think, oh no, sorry, I was going in the wrong direction with seashells.
Oh.
She sells them, by the seashore.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, shucks. You might think there are more pasta shapes than you can count, but the fact is someone actually
counted them. According to, and I really never knew there would be one, the International Pasta Organization, there are more than 500 different pasta shapes. Each of them works the best with certain kinds of sauces, fillings, or toppings. Many also have symbolic significance in Italy. All I'm thinking is, who cares? Yes. I mean, give me some and pass the Chianti.
I want to know that that's true or not, because it's like the Eskimo thing with they have 127,000 different words for snow. No, they don't.
No, but they have a few.
They do. 500 different kinds of pasta.
Well,
I just want the stuff with the Alfredo.
There we go.
Or the marinara.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.